bad guy. Duh. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Be the Villian podcast, where we take real life issues and correlate them with God and spirituality. I am your host, Danielle Grace. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? I am feeling good. Okay, so boom, let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room now and get it over with. There wasn't a podcast episode last week. Why? Because I wanted to give myself a break, period. That's it, that's all. No really any other excuse or excuses, but yeah. So we back. So today is December 26th, the day after Christmas, and you already know New Year's is coming up, so I just feel like today's topic is right on time. So we're talking about the art of programming our vision boards. And when I say programming, we're approaching that time of year where everyone is either getting ready to evaluate this past year or have already started to evaluate this past year. And post-evaluation, people will then begin to picture the life they wish to live out for next year, 2024. And oftentimes it's the same or similar goals we set last year that we're trying to set for this year. And speaking from personal experiences, the standards are sometimes set way too high. Then after the first 2 months go by, my vision boards turn into standard decorations rather than like a reminder or something that fuels, the drive or the hunger for achieving those goals. And then the year starts speeding by. Next thing you know, we hit the holidays. And then boom, it's Happy New Year's. Somewhere in the process of what I just described, I would lose motivation because of my lack of commitment to my goals and visions throughout the year. Then I'll come to the realization that I've pretty much neglected my goals for the year. And then at this point, just like many other people, I will fall into the trap of I'm too late to pick up where I left off. So I'll just start again on January 1st. Rather than immediately taking actions. So I think it was on Friday, either Thursday or Friday, for some reason, I decided to restart the book Atomic Habits. I never finished it when I first started reading it, I think earlier this year. So I was just going to pick up where I left off, but I was something was telling me to restart the book over again. And I've been learning a lot of gems, tips, and everything like that to incorporate into my daily lifestyle, especially considering the fact that I've pretty much made my vision board for 2024 or the first quarter of 2024, and we'll get into that. Yeah, so I'm not going to be talking too much about habits because I want to make that a whole separate episode once I'm done finishing this book, or once I finish this book, Atomic Habits, which should literally be within the next few days. Sometime this week I will be done with that book. It's really good. I've already surpassed where I left off, so that's just go to say something. I started on Friday or Thursday, and today's Tuesday, and we're more than halfway done. So yeah. So by the time you're listening to this episode, I want you to start implementing these tips and tricks tomorrow, the very next day. And take immediate action towards your vision board and towards your goals. So this year, I've learned a lot of tips and tricks when it comes to programming and activating your vision board, digital and physical. So I have a physical vision board that I have hung up on the wall, and then I also have a digital vision board that I make the background for my laptop. So last year I created my 2023 vision board on New Year's Eve, literally the day before. It was so cliche of me to make a vision board on New Year's Eve, and then hang it up on New Year's. So I hung it up on New Year's and was very much yeah, this is the one right here. Of course, I prayed for it to come true, but if I'm being honest, I prayed for the tunnel vision, simply because my board was huge and had so many goals that I knew it would be extremely hard to achieve without putting in the work. So I prayed for the tunnel vision to, get those goals. I can honestly say that the goals I did achieve, such as honors and traveling, was simply because those were the main ones that I cared about. So obviously I made sure to show up for those goals. To me, everything else on that board were things I felt were just nice to have. I felt like it would be a flex to have, like 1 million subscribers, crazy shopping sprees, all that type of stuff. So after a while, my vision board just simply became decoration in my room. So I recently decided to evaluate the things that I had on that vision board and started to pray for God to tell me where I went wrong, because in my mind, I should have been living a completely different life by now, looking at the things that I had on this vision board. So I came across this sermon by Pastor Mike Todd the other day, and I actually ended up watching it twice because it was just that good. And he had this section where he was talking about vision boards, and the specific video that I'm talking about is titled A Sudden Switch End in Triumph, in a series that he has going on titled Damaged But Not Destroyed. He pretty much said something along the lines of, God was telling me that my vision board was cool and all, but he wasn't signing off on it. And of course that got me thinking, like, well, if he likes it, why won't he sign off on it? You feel me? And by the end of watching that sermon, I pretty much got the answer that I was looking for. I pretty much never asked God to align my vision with his plan. Again, I started to reevaluate my vision board, and even though it had a few scriptures on there, I should have just made a wish list for all that. After I got that answer, I pretty much immediately decided to remake my vision board, and if I'm being honest, I've already achieved majority of the goals that I had on it. And if you follow these steps, I can almost guarantee you that 2024 will be your year, because I know for sure 2024 is going to be my year. I'm actually starting this thing called the 6-month project. I came up with it, and I will give you all more details probably in another episode, because I want y'all to join me on the 6-month journey, and I really want to give you guys an outline of, the steps to do, everything to follow, which is pretty much similar to what we're talking about today. So step number 1, destroy your current mindset. Ask yourself, what's the purpose of this vision board? A lot of times vision boards get created without having a vision, and majority of the time we get so caught up on the aesthetically pleasing Pinterest photos that our vision boards, quote unquote, turn into a wish list, and we're not trying to have a repeat of that. Step number 2, make your purpose crystal clear. I don't expect you to know what to put on your vision board if you're unsure of what it is you're meant to be doing and what it is God has asked you to do, what your calling is. So if you're unsure of your purpose, ask God and he will make it crystal clear to you. Step number 3, illuminate and destroy limiting beliefs. Once you're sure of your purpose, truly think and write out the reasons and beliefs you may have that may be holding you back and what may have prevented you from achieving those goals last year, or this year, I should say, 2023. And I really want you guys to be real with yourself, because if you aren't, it's honestly pointless creating another vision board, because you'll run into the risk of repeating the non-productive cycle in a whole new year. And we're not trying to have that, okay? Step number 4. Here's the fun part. So now that you've confirmed with God your purpose, create goals that put you in alignment with becoming that person. For example, if you aspire to be a podcast host, put pictures of a podcast set and pictures of other podcast hosts. So rather than having such a broad vision board, make it a very detailed vision board that aligns with the person you plan on becoming. And when I say detailed, I mean detailed. So check me out. Instead of putting photos of someone with hella designer shopping bags in their hands, put photos of the way you'd like to dress. Of course, we all want shopping sprees, but what type of clothes are we actually buying? Because if you don't have a vision, you don't have direction. And a vision without direction is a repeat of the same exact cycle that we've been in for all these years. So back to the sermon that I was talking about, also the book Atomic Habits, the key to a sudden switch. So the secret to suddenly is steady. So in order to stay steady, you have to submit to the process and switch your mind already into the promise, and the promise being your purpose and the bigger picture of what God has prepared for you. So again, we'll go into habits in a different episode because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys all the gems that I learned in this book so that I am telling you out of my overflow of wisdom, period. Boom. Step number 5, create a game plan. So you want to figure out what you will do and when you will do it. Also, make it known how you want to be held accountable. A lot of times we just have to identify that first step and take it. So once we take the first step, everything else will begin to fall in line. And if you don't really know what to do or when to start, when to do what, definitely organization. I bought a weekly planner and that has been helping me, you guys. Also implementing those tips in the book Atomic Habits. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, y'all would think this podcast episode was sponsored the way I'm talking about Atomic Habits, but it's just generally had me switch mindset. Like, I don't know, and I just really want to share this with you guys. Listen, if God gave you the vision, what makes you think he'll leave you hanging? So I recommend setting monthly goals, and then of course getting a planner so that you can monitor your habits, your to-do list, so that you technically have weekly goals. And as you complete these weekly goals and daily goals, every time you take action towards the person that you want to be, it's literally like voting for that person. And every time you take an action that serves you no good, it's voting for the person that you've already been, the person that you no longer want to be. You feel me? And when it comes to votes, it's really just majority wins. So definitely think of it that way when you're contemplating and just procrastinating anything that it is that you have to do. So back to the question, how you want to be held accountable. I prefer to be held accountable with my weekly planner. In my weekly planner, it has days and habit trackers. So like I can check off which habits I've been doing from 7 days a week pretty much. And yeah, plus there's a section for a weekly review, so I can write down what didn't work for me last week so that I know what I have to do differently for this week. So I definitely recommend setting monthly goals and of course setting weekly game plans to help you achieve those goals. So at least once a week, reevaluate your vision board to make sure that you are still locked in. I'm trying to make it a habit of reviewing it daily, and it's okay if you don't see dramatic results, because remember, the secret to suddenly is steady. I've seen this quote on Instagram a while back and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it here before, but if not, I'll say it again. Fast success fuels ego and slow success builds character. You are in your own lane, at your own pace, in your own game. You have no competition because your individuality is your power. Everything that comes quick and easy isn't always built to sustain the storms. Take your time working towards your goals so that you build long-lasting love for your purpose. And of course, long-lasting love for yourself, okay? Right, step number 6 is say a prayer, okay? Pray to God to keep you disciplined, eager to learn, motivated, and filled with tunnel vision. Pray for him to guide you on the path he's created for you. Your evolution journey is a partnership with God. Let him know that you cannot do this journey without him. As you evolve, grow closer to God. The closer you get to your goals, the more the enemy will try to throw you off your game. And once you submit to God in the process, you are pretty much now covered in the armor of him. So nothing can get in the way. Not even the devil. The devil can waste all his energy on somebody else because you're just not going to give up, period. Last step, step number 7, boom, get to work. Faith without works is dead. Y'all know this already. So get to work, baby. Like, get to work. Refer to Be the Villian episode number 9. Give yourself grace for tips on creating balance and minimizing burnout. But other than that, we got work to do because a sudden switch comes from a subtle switch, okay? Period. We having crazy faith all 2024, and I don't know about y'all, but I'm giving myself 6 months because I am breaking up the year into 12 weeks. So that's the next book I want to read, the 12-week year. Once I get these habits on lockdown, y'all can't tell me nothing, okay? Period. I've already started implementing a lot of these new habits, you guys, and of course I will give y'all all the tea once I finish that book, like I said. So who knows, I may be dropping that episode sooner than you think. Well, that's all I have for today's episode, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. To all of my returning villains, thank you for tuning into another episode of Be the Villain. If this is your first episode ever and you made it to the end, I'm assuming that you're interested in your personal growth. So my previous and upcoming episodes could be valuable to you. So I definitely encourage you to go ahead and check them out, download or subscribe so that you don't skip a beat. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll talk to you all next Wednesday. Mwah. Bye.